Welcome back, and now we're going to be doing HashiCorp Packer variables. So in the previous tutorial, we implemented a provisioner, but our Packer template is static. So if we want to change the contents of the file, we need to manually update your template. So that's what we're doing right now. Right now, we're just kind of like manually updating. Let me guess, there's a variables file you can put in here. The tutorial assumes you're continuing from the previous tutorials. Yep, install Packer, create a directory, do the thing. Again, they have .1, it should be .2, and that's where we left off. And Packer. All right, it's cool. Packer has two types of variables, input variables and local variables. In this section, you'll use both input and local variables to generate a unique AMI name. This way, you don't need to update your AMI name before each new run. All right, cool. Add the following variable block to your thing. All right, so at the bottom, I'm just going to put variable AMI prefix type string, and the default is this. So it's going to add some kind of prefix. Variable blocks declare the variable name AMI name, right? The data type string. I don't know, this is AMI name. It's really AMI prefix, and the default value, learn this. All right, so this is a inconsistency. The variable block declares the variable name AMI prefix, not AMI name. While the variable type and default values are optional, we recommend you define these attributes when creating new variables. Treat Packer variables as constants. You cannot update them during runtime. Okay. Add the local variable block to your AMI or to your Packer template. So we're going to do a timestamp. Okay. I don't know what's the local one do. It declares a local variable named timestamp, and the value is this disgusting regex that I hate, and you can set the local value to anything, including other variables and locals. Locals are useful when you need to format commonly used values. In this example, Packer sets timestamp local variable to a formatted timestamp using functions. Like input variables, treat local variables as constants. You cannot update them during runtime. Okay. In your Packer template, update your source block to reference the AMI prefix variable. Notice how the template references the variable as var, just like Terraform does. So AMI name is just going to be $bracket var AMI dash. Oh, okay, local timestamp. So we can do local because depending on when it was built, but the variable is used as a constant, but like for every name. But then see, I don't know why this is declared in the template. It would make more sense to me if it's declared outside the template and then called during the template. So, and then this is what AMI name. Yeah, so for AMI name, instead of this, it's going to be quote $bracket AMI prefix close bracket dash dollar. How does it do the local? Oh, it's var.ami. That's right, because it's a variable. Duh. And then this one would be local dot timestamp close quote. Like that. Right? Am I right? I am right. And then we build an image. All right, so let's do a build. It says 5.5 minutes. So this, I'm gonna run this, and then we're gonna definitely pause this when we're done. Let's do a little format action. Okay, didn't change anything. Packer build my HCL file. All right, AMI name. Learn Packer AWS Redis with a timestamp. So this prefix is going to be the same on every single machine. So the variable default prefix is just this. That'll be the name of everything. But there's going to be a suffix, I guess you want to call it, that's a timestamp. And that's it. So it's just doing a regex for basically now on time zone, which for me is 11:46 2021, 11, 23. I don't know how it's reading that. But anyways, I'll pause the video and let you know when it's done. All right, so my image is pending, but it's pretty much done. We got our fourth image here pending. There's the name. It's got the nice little timestamp on the end of it. And I knew this was coming next. So it says there's different ways to do variables. Since it's parameterized, great word, you can define a variable before building the image. There are multiple ways to assign variables, variable defaults, and then environment variables, files, and then command line flag. So we're going to do define variables with variables, files, and then the command line flag. So we're going to create a file named example.packervars.hcl. So let's take a look at this. New file. Bam. And then I'm going to stick this prefix in here. Save. And then we can build the image with the var flag. And it does the same thing. So we'll go ahead and try this now that that's available. And this should be done. It is done. Okay, so now I have this var file, but I already set it in there. I don't know what it's going to do. It'll just say it starts with var instead because the variable file takes precedence over the declared variable, I'm guessing. Defaults, environment variables, variable files, and then command line flag. All right, so let's try this. I'll just follow the process, and it should start with var instead of just Redis, because right now it says Redis and a timestamp. So let's go ahead and run packer build, but then -- var - file equals pass my var file and then my packer template. And here it goes. Learn packer AWS Redis var blah. So declaring something in this file will supersede whatever you have inside this guy for AMI prefix. Since I gave the same name, there's a hierarchy. All right, well, let's just we'll pause the video and wait for this to get running. All right, and it's still pending, but we can see here the AMI name does in fact have var in it, just like we saw on the console, with a timestamp. So that's pretty cool. So now I don't have to go and rename this sucker every single time, which is nice. I can probably delete this as well. So anyways, while this finishes up, let's go ahead and finish out this documentation. So we built that with the flag. Now it starts with var, the value defined in the variable file. Never commit sensitive values into source control. No kidding. All right, Packer will automatically load any variable file that matches the name star.auto packervars without the need to pass the file via the command line. Cool. Rename your variable file so it automatically loads. All right, so we're going to move this into example.auto. That's kind of a cool feature. Is this done? All right, it's done. So we see example.packervars.hcl. Then we're going to move it. Boom, example.auto.packervars. So now I should just be able to go packer build AWS blah 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 blah, and it will just automatically pick up that var. Let's see if it does. Oh crap, cancel. Do I need to save? Packer Redis var. Yeah, because I'm looking at this and it doesn't say var in the name. Let's see if I skip this step. Build the image and notice how the AMI packer build dot. Okay, cool. So let's just try that. Packer build dot. There it is, var. So it's the difference between packer build dot and packer build pass the name of the file. Because if you pass the name of the file, I think it just builds with the file and it uses the variable inside, which is what it did. Because if you pass the file name, it's only going to read the file explicitly. But if you do packer build dot like here, just like Docker will do or Terraform will do, it's going to read. I don't think Terraform does that, but like it'll read every file in that current directory where you execute packer build. So that makes sense. I'm gonna wait for this to finish. All right, and I got a new image. It's pending. It's got the correct name. Everything looks good. So the last part we're going to do is talk about using the command line flag. So the command line flag will override everything. So you can pass --var and then just state the var in the actual build itself, and this will override everything that's going on. So in this case, it's going to end with -var-flag. We're going to build that and see what happens. Because there's a dot at the end, it's still going to read everything in this directory, but it's going to read this, but it's going to know I have a command line flag. I found a variable that has the same name, so I'm going to take the command line flag and I'm going to give that precedence over the variable file and here in my prefix and over the variable in the actual environment itself stated here. So that's one way to do it. I do not see that being used ever. I think this auto packer vars file is probably the way that I would do things, but that's just me. So let's try this. So we're gonna packer build pass the var with var flag and see it override everything. So let's take a look. Learn packer AWS Redis var flag, and there it is. So I'll go ahead and wait for this to finish. Now while it's finishing up, we don't really need to wait for that. We already know it's going to work, but we did notice that it starts here. The value is defined by the command line flag and it has the highest precedence. Makes sense. So really the big takeaway here is just knowing the precedence, and that's that your command line flag is going to override your file, which is going to override your environment variable, which is going to override your default value. So it's just, you have to remember that. That's all. So in this tutorial, we parameterized input and local variables, define variables using files, command line flags, and the definition order of precedence. So next we're going to do multiple images in parallel using the same template.